A verse of the day content block is a nice feature to add to any scripture website. It allows you to configure a section of a web page so that the visitor sees a Bible verse and the verse automatically changes every day without you having to go back and do anything about it. Here on the screen you see a sample of the ways you can set up this content block. This at the top is a square format with an image in the background and the text is centered. Then we see a fit-to-text format with a colored background, which you can choose, and the text in this case is right justified. Here we have another fit-to-text content block with a border around it, and so you see that the page background is what is the background also for the content block, and the text here is left justified. And then finally we have what's called a portrait format, which is a little bit taller, and again using the image background and the centered text. In this video, you'll learn how to set up a verse of the day content block. I've decided on my website to put this content block on my home page, and I have done a little bit of preparation. Now we've learned that it's best to use a narrower column layout for a verse of the day content block. It just looks better on the page. So here I have set up a 2-column section, and in editing the section I have chosen the narrow section width. In that way my columns are fairly narrow on the web page. I've already made a text content block here on the left to explain a little bit about the verse of the day. And now I'm going to use the right column to set up the verse of the day. I click on Add Content. And when the sidebar opens with the variety of content block options, I scroll down to the bottom and click on Verse of the Day. A new sidebar now opens, and here I have a number of selections to make to configure this content block. First, you'll see that there is an option to choose a version of the Bible in each of the navigation languages of the website. In my case, I have English, Spanish, and Achi, which is a language of Guatemala. I click on Select, and it opens up the options for the version of the Bible, and I'm going to choose a different version for each navigation language. In a lesser spoken language, you may have fewer options from which to choose. In some cases, like this, you may only have the New Testament. Then below the Bible version section, you see a title Appearance. Click on that to open a new section of the sidebar. And here you have various ways to configure the appearance of the content block. You can choose whether the text is centered in the text box, left justified, or right justified. You can choose the square format, the portrait format, which we saw in the examples, and the fit-to-text format, which we also saw. And then for background, you can choose whether you use an image, a solid color, place a border around the content block, or have no background. I'll leave it on image, and I want to go on to say here that the images are preloaded. You cannot upload your own images to use for this kind of content block. You can select or deselect those that are already uploaded, and I'll just leave it on using all of them. Again, these will change from day to day, just like the verse itself. The image will be different each day. Let's close that section of the sidebar and then click on Options to open another section. Here you can decide whether Christmas Day falls on the 25th of December, the 6th of January, the 7th of January, or not to have a Christmas Day selection at all. And then similarly, Easter Day or Resurrection Day, whether it goes by the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar, or you don't specify either way. Once you've made all of those selections, click on Save at the bottom of the sidebar, and you will now see your verse of the day on the Layout Editor screen. You can experiment with the different configurations until you get it to looking just the way you want it. Then go to either the top or bottom of the Layout Editor screen and click on Save or Save and Unpublish. You will then see a preview of the page, the way the website visitor will see it, and there you see the verse of the day content block along with the text content block that explains a little bit about it. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.